Welcome back, fellow product designers, to this beginner's course on how to use Fusion 360. My name is Avya Jamadagni, and as promised, today we will get cracking and we will start sketching. So, today's lesson will be focused on sketching, and specifically sketching rectangles, circles, and applying tangents and dimensions to the sketch. So first, let's create a new project. To do that, let's go to the data panel, and it will open up to this. And what we want to do is click on New Project, and let's name this as Fusion 360 Beginners Course. And all you have to do is hit enter. So now it takes some time to load only because this is online and it's saving it to your drive. So wherever you access this on whichever system, as long as you have your account, this file will still be there. Now, as you can see, I have other projects and this is all the way down here. But since we're going to be working with this often, we'll go ahead and pin this. So now it's all the way at the top. And this is our top priority now. So let's go ahead and open this. So double click on that. And now you'll get this screen. So now we can actually start working on it. So whatever we work here and whatever we save will be saved into the Fusion 360 Beginners Course folder. Now, let's go ahead and close the data panel. Now, we go back to this screen. So this is the screen we had last time. And as you can see, it's untitled because it's not saved yet. So, before we start sketching, you need to know this one golden rule. You can only sketch on a plane or a face. And if you're sketching on a face, it needs to be flat. Now Fusion 360 does not allow you to sketch on a curved face. And if you're getting confused between what a plane is and what a face is, a plane is basically these three squares over here regarding the origin. So you have three planes: the XY plane, the XZ plane, and the YZ plane. And a face is basically any face of a 3D model. So once you have a 3D model, any side of it, if you want to sketch on any side of it, the side needs to be completely flat. Now, so let's go ahead and start sketching. Now, at the beginning of this video, you would have seen a basic diagram of what we're going to sketch. I'm going to be using that diagram, and don't worry, you don't need to always go back to that. I'll be regularly cross-referencing that diagram right here. So, first let's have a look at it. So this is the diagram. As you can see, it's a 10 by 10 centimeter square with two circles and one rectangle. Now it's just a regular, it's just a normal, it's not really anything, it's just a regular, something we can practice sketching with. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe if we can extrude this, maybe it will look, maybe, I don't know, a little bit like a pencil holder or something like that. But let's just focus on sketching it for now. So first, let's start sketching the base square. So that's 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Let's go back to Fusion 360. And since this is going to be our base, let's sketch on the XZ plane. So all we need to do for that is go to this top left-hand corner and click on this icon that says Create Sketch. You click on that, and now you'll need to select one plane. So let's go ahead and select this ZX plane. And now that'll open like that. Now the circle over here represents the origin. And if you can actually, if you orbit around, like so, you will see that it's just zoomed, as soon as you press Create Sketch, it just zoomed in such a way that it only focuses on that one plane that we're working on. Let's go ahead to a top view, and let's start sketching. So, there's no square option in Fusion 360, but there is an option to create a rectangle, and from that we can make a square. Let's go ahead to the sketch option, this drop down, and let's select rectangle. And to make our lives easy here, let's go ahead and select center rectangle. Now, this icon just shows that you need to plot it somewhere, and it's always best practice to start plotting on the origin. So let's go ahead and click on that to place a center point and just drag outwards. Now you see, as you can now don't click on anything yet, or else it will set it and you'll have to restart. You'll have to delete the rectangle you created. Now you'll see that the units are in millimeters. It's not completely necessary for you to convert it to millimeters every time. It works as long as you enter the units. For example, the side here is 10 centimeters. Let's go ahead and type in 10 space cm. And now to lock it, either you can, the best practice is to hit tab, so that automatically goes to the next measurement up here. As you can see, that happens. So let's try not to move our mouse. And let's go ahead and type in 10 centimeters again, and hit enter. Now you can see that we have created a square. And you see that the color here in the square is different. That shows that you've created a shape. And if it's very important that you see this color, otherwise you won't be able to extrude it or do anything with it. So that's one indication that you have actually created a shape. So let's just zoom in a little bit to make it look a little better. To make it look clearer, sorry. Good. So that's how it looks. Now let's go back to the diagram. Now you see there are two circles we need to sketch. One 2 centimeters and and another 2 centimeter radius circle. So what we'll do is we'll go to the sketch option again, click on the drop down, and see circle. Let's go ahead and click center diameter circle. And now you see we can plot it again. Now there's no need to be specific right now, so just go ahead and plot it anywhere in this top left smaller square. I'm just gonna plot it there and just drag it out. Now you see this thing refers directly to the diameter. Now if you look back at our diagram, you see that the radius was 2 centimeters, hence the diameter would be 4 centimeters. Let's go ahead and type in 4 cm. And then hit enter. So there's one circle. Now let's make another circle. So sketch, circle, center diameter circle, and down here again just plot it anywhere, drag out, and type in 40, either 40 millimeters or just 40 as it is, or you can type in 4 centimeters. It doesn't really matter, and hit enter. Yeah. So now you have two circles, and this blue line shows that it's undefined, which means that you can actually grab onto the middle point and move it around. We don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a tangent function. So over here on your right hand side, you'll see something called a sketch palette. Now here, and if you go down, you see constraints. Now constraints are very useful because you can click on different shapes and try to find or try to make them better. For example, coincident, you click on 2 points, for example this point and that point, and if you apply the coincident rule, both of them align and you have a circle directly in the middle of this square. So what we need to use is a tangent function. So let's go ahead and click on tangent. So you see that the cursor is now black with the tangent symbol right below it. And let's click on the circumference of the circle and this side. And what this does is it applies that tangent right over there. So, so these two are touching each other as a tangent. Now let's go ahead and do the same for these two sides as well. So let's click on that circumference and let's click on this side. Aha! Now you see one error, sketch geometry is over constraint. What that means is I probably applied too many constraints. Now you may be wondering why that happened, because I used only one tangent function. This is only because I've been using, I've plotted my circle on this diagonal. So as soon as you apply a tangent over here, if you plot it on a diagonal, it will directly tangent, there will be a tangent with this as well. And since I've plotted this circle on the diagonal as well, it will still, the same thing should happen. So let's go ahead and try that. So let's click on this circle circumference and this side. And again, the tangent, it's a tangent. So, so this is how, and then now you see that the circle circumference is black, which means that it has been, there are dimensions to it and it has been constrained. So now, if you go ahead and press escape to get rid of the tangent function and just your normal cursor, and you try to move the circle around, nothing happens. So that's how this works. Now, one more observation. If you go around and try to select different things, you see that there are multiple shapes being formed. For example, if I hover over this area, you see that it's blue. And if only that is highlighted, that means that that is a shape, and um, it's a separate shape from this one and these two circles. So that's another way to make sure that you actually have a tangent. Now that this has been constrained, let's move on to the second part of this. So second part is a rectangle. And the dimensions of the rectangle is 2 centimeters by 9 centimeters. Let's go ahead to Fusion 360 and let's sketch another rectangle. For this, let's use a 2-point rectangle. So let's go to that again, the sketch bar, and let's click on rectangle, except this time let's click on 2-point rectangle. So now that's been highlighted. And again, same thing as last time, let's just draw it anywhere. So I'm just going to start somewhere roughly about here, click on that point, and then I'm going to drag downwards. And let's enter the dimensions again. So this was 9 centimeters or 90 millimeters, and by 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. Okay, now you see again there's no dimension for this, so this could be moved. There are no constraints for this, so this can be moved around easily. So let's put some constraints. Now this says that this rectangle needs to be 1 centimeter away from this from the right side of the base square. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the sketch bar, and we'll click on dimensions, sketch dimension down here. Now again, black cursor with the dimension symbol below it. So let's click on this end, and this side. And if we drag downwards, we'll see that there's a dimension, that the distance between them is 8.095 millimeters. So let's just click on that, and now we have an option to edit that. So we said we needed a space of 1 centimeter. So let's type in 1 space cm. Hit enter, and that creates that dimension. So now that side is constrained, but these sides can still move around. So what we need to do is, let's go back here, and this says that this is directly in the middle of both of them, and there's a 0.5 centimeter or 5 millimeter gap between either end. So let's go back to Fusion 360, and let's apply a dimension over here. So let's click the top end over here, and let's click this side. And now let's drag it out, click, and now edit this. So we said we wanted 0.5 centimeters. Let's hit enter, and now you see that there's a constraint there. Now, what we'll do is we'll try to apply the same dimension on this side, just to be sure that it's 5 millimeters or 0.5 centimeters. But it may not be necessary, and it may give us the same error that happened with this when we applied 2 tangents to the same circle. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's click on this side, the bottom side, and take it out. And we realize that that is already 5 millimeters. And if the distance between this side and that side is the same, then we know that that's exactly in the middle, which is what we wanted. And then again, we get this error saying adding this dimension will over-constrain the sketch. So let's go ahead and hit cancel over here. And that's all we need to do. Now you see that we've completed the sketch, and we've plotted everything. So let's go ahead and hit escape to get our normal cursor back. And now let's hit stop sketch. Now you see you have sketched that out, and there are different shapes on this, which means that we can easily extrude this. Now, let's just orbit over to there, and let's go to the home view by clicking this home button over by the view cube. Let's zoom out a bit to see our sketch. So now this looks quite similar to our photo over here, to our diagram, and that shows that we've successfully created the sketch. And this, and so now, so this brings us to the end of this lesson. However, we should save this before we go, just so we don't lose it. So let's go to this top left corner over here and click save. Now you'll get this box. Now it says location is Fusion 360 Beginners Course, and it should say that if you've named your folder that way. And let's name this as Sketch 1 and click save. And that's the end of this lesson. So thank you so much guys for listening. Our next lesson will focus on extruding and the different types of extrudes and how you can extrude this very shape. So we will focus on that next lesson. Until then, make sure you've saved this, and you can actually go back to your data panel now. So go to show data panel, and you will see that this sketch is over here. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and have a great day.